Technical analysis only gets us so far. And you're probably experiencing this right now. And I experienced it for many, many years, where you keep searching for the answers, for, the solution to our inconsistencies and why you're not seeing consistent profits. And, we often always think it's external, right? As humans, it's something that we're not doing. But very often it's because we're not that person that can produce consistent profitability, right? So you have to become that person in order to create consistency. Because very often we've seen, big shot traders trading very simplistic approaches, right? And the reality of it is it's not because of the technicals that they're employing in the market. It's the trader's mindset that they're approaching the market and that they're approaching their trading with. So if you really want to change your results, it's not in another technical YouTube video. It's not in another concept. It's not in another strategy, right? No strategy is going to be consistent in the hands of an undisciplined trader. Remember that. No strategy is going to be consistent in the hands of an undisciplined trader. So if you don't become that person, then you will never be him or her. How do you then create that person that actually creates consistency? And obviously it's not from searching for strategies. It's not learning more about technical analysis. It's none of that. It's about doing the small, simple things that everyone knows that you should do deep down, but you're still not doing, right? So following your plan, following your risk management protocol, keeping risk fixed, keeping risk consistent. It's not revenge trading. It's not emotional trading out of boredom. It's not any of these undisciplined poor habits. Very often you can know what not to do, but it's sometimes very difficult to know what to do because you're not there yet, right? So you think, what should I be doing? What should I be doing? But first and foremost, you got to subtract what you're doing wrong first, because very often that's your point of call, right? Because you know what you're doing wrong. You can see what you're doing wrong. If you're journaling, if you're tracking your data, you can see what you're doing wrong. And very often, that is the first point of call to actually being able to create consistency, is removing those undisciplined things that you do, those poor habits, those poor trades that you're taking, getting rid of that 10 to 20% of bad trades that you're taking can drastically increase your likelihood of profitability and your likelihood of actually surviving in this game. So focus on reducing the number of decisions you have to make, reducing the poor decisions that you do make, reducing all these unnecessary errors that you've been doing. That's the first point of call. Then what that actually does is it starts to build momentum and it starts to build confidence in yourself, because you start doing the things that you should be doing. And that's actually where true growth and the true learning curve takes over. Because, we can go years of, consuming content, consuming technical analysis and all this stuff, and still feel like we've got nowhere. Still feel like you're not any closer to achieving consistency, and you don't really know where to go. But it's because you're focusing on the wrong thing, right? You have to focus on self. You have to focus on becoming that person. And, it brings me back to a quote that kind of stuck with me lately. And it's, if I'm not him today, then I'll never be him. And it's this reality that if you don't make the conscious decisions to be the person you want to be today, then you will never be him, right? Because the only thing we have is today. The only decisions we can make are around today. So you have to make the decision today to better yourself, to do the right thing. Because in order to become that person, you have to do those things, right? You can't strategize about what you're going to do tomorrow or plan what you're going to do tomorrow. No, forget about tomorrow. Focus on today. What can I do today to become the future version of myself? And that excellence, that that pursuit of profitability happens today. It starts today. And you can either put it off for as long as you want. And I put it off for 6+ years. I put it off for so many years when, the reality soon dawned on me that I have to be that individual now. I have to make that conscious decision to change, because every day we have a choice, right? We have a choice whether we want to wake up early or sleep in or snooze our alarm, or whether we want to execute our trading plan, or whether we're going to revenge trade today. Like every single thing that happens in a day, we have a choice. We have to choose to do the right thing if you want to be that person, right? You're not going to be that person if you don't consciously make a decision. And those decisions then start to shift your actual reality and how you see yourself and how you view yourself, and this whole identity shift around trading. And that's really the biggest thing that changed my results, was this whole complete shift in who I saw myself as and who I thought I was. And that identity shift then creates those habits naturally, because you are a disciplined person. You see yourself as someone who is disciplined. You see yourself as someone who is consistent. So really cut down on the decisions you have to make. Have a very simplistic approach, right? Trading doesn't need to be difficult. We all know that the edge is within us, right? Our edge is with the decisions that we make at the charts on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis. That is our true edge. Sure, you can have technical edge, but really the thing that actually, puts you ahead of the majority of other traders is your personal edge, is your mental edge, your psychology, your ability to execute, and the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis. That is your true edge. So you have to double down on this, right? If you really want to change your results, which I imagine if you do, if you're watching this video, you have to start making that decision today. You have to change today, because if you're not him today, you will never be him. So every day, choose to make a conscious change. Choose to do the right thing, because this is your life. Like this, you need to stop cruising. I was cruising for way too long. I was way too comfortable in my situation, where the pain of staying the same wasn't as big as the pain of change, right? It was more uncomfortable to go through change. So I thought, I can just cruise like this and eventually it'll work. But there comes a point in time where you become pissed off enough with yourself that you're forced to change, and you are forced to then make that conscious decision that I'm going to change my reality. And it really is as simple as that. And I thought it was so complicated in my mind of like, wow, changing my life, it must be so difficult. There must be so many things. But really, it's not. It's simple. You just have to make that conscious choice. You have to make that conscious decision to change that. Okay, I'm not living like this no more. I'm not that person anymore. Today, I'm the person that does those things. Today, I'm the person that achieves these achievements that I've been chasing for so many years. So make that choice. Like, don't let this fizzle out. Make a conscious decision today to finally change your trading results.